Hang on a sec. That looks a bit serious. 3 packs of beautiful Aussie hardwood dumped on my front lawn. I think it's time for a new front fence. There goes the weekend. Now first things first, let's get those pesky post holes dug. And since I've got a bit of a dodgy old shoulder, I recruited my neighbour Bo as chief hole digger. And just between you and me, it's the best $70 I've ever spent. Now while young Bo was slaving away on those post holes, I decided to put a round over profile on all of the fencing material. A monumental task, but it was well worth it as it leaves the wood with a nice profile and gets rid of all those pesky splinters that can often plague a square edge profile. And I have to say that the amazing RT1000 performed like an absolute champion. Now just in case you're wondering, yes, you are right. Treated timber, such as treated pine, also known as pressure treated lumber in some other countries, is often recommended for fence posts as they are pest resistant. That's hard to say, and they also tolerate being put in the ground. However, no treated pine for me. For this job, I'm using this beautiful Aussie hardwood called ironbark, which is a class 1 for durability rated timber, which lasts 25 plus years in the ground and 40 plus years above the ground. So that's going to see me well and truly out. And to improve that longevity even further, I'm coating the part that goes in the ground with a waterproofing bitumen paint. Now when it comes time to finally putting those posts in the ground, obviously the post fairy doesn't rock up and wave his big magic wand and suddenly all your posts perfectly line up in a beautiful straight line. It just doesn't work like that. Your posts, they do need to be straight, but in most cases you also need to work to the property's boundary. And to do that, you need to set up some timber profiles in the ground, like I have here, that enables you to drive in a nail to run a string line off, which you then align your posts up to. Before the posts go in, I like to add about 100 millimeters of gravel into the hole to encourage drainage away from the bottom of the post. Some people think it's a waste of time, but you know what? It can't do any harm and it gives me some peace of mind. Alrighty, in go the posts, and to keep them in position so they don't move around once they've been plumbed up flush to the string line, just attach some simple braces which will stop the post from moving around when you place in the concrete, and it also holds them in place until that concrete dries. Now with all those posts braced and in place, mix up a batch of concrete, and I generally use 2 20 kilogram bags per post, and make sure that you agitate the concrete as you go with your shovel to make sure that the concrete gets right around the post and into all those hard to reach nooks and crannies. And to finish off, I then top up the rest of the hole by adding a combination of the soil that you've taken out of the hole and pure cement mixed together, which I then compact down in sections as I go. Now trust me, these fence posts are never going to move. Now just to go the extra mile, a really good thing to do to extend the life of your post is to build that soil and cement mixture up just above ground level so that any future water, rather than sitting against the post, runs away from the post. Speaking about fences, how's this? A couple of days ago, I was walking past this really tall fence, and from behind it, I heard this group of kids chanting, 13, 13, 13. And I thought, what's going on over there? So I tried to look over the top of the fence, but I couldn't because it was too tall. And then halfway down, I noticed a little peephole. I thought, that's perfect. So I went over to it to look through it. I've got my eye up against it like that. Next thing you know, boom, one of these kids' fingers has gone through the hole and fair smack into the middle of my eye. I nearly took it out. I had tears just running down my face like this, and next thing I heard this excited chant from behind the fence of these kids, and they're going, 14, 14, 14. And I thought, you cheeky little sods, you got me. Oldest trick in the book. Can't believe I fell for it. I've got myself a chalk line here, which is an easy way to mark out the location of the fence rails over multiple posts with one easy flick of the line. Once they're marked, you're ready to cut out the rail checkouts with your trusty circular saw. Now, if you're not too comfortable using a circular saw, which is understandable, to cut out those checkouts, you may want to check out my circular saw masterclass that I'll link to down below in the description box. Now, just a little tip. To help extend the life of your fence, coat all the fresh checkouts and cut ends with decking oil before you screw the rails in place. And don't forget to cut an angle on top of the post so the water runs off it. Now check this out. How good does that finish look? It's stunning, and I'm just going to apply 2 coats of that decking oil to the posts and rails before I screw on the fence battens. To make my life a little easier, I am pre-cutting all my fence battens to size. Then pre-drilling and countersinking the screw holes with the aid of a template so all the holes finish up the same. And then finally, I'm getting there folks, finishing the battens off by applying a couple of coats of decking oil. And again, I have to say, how good does that finish look? Love it. Now here's just a couple of quick tips to be aware of when driving soft stainless steel screws into hardwood. Now it's a great idea to pre-drill all your screw holes to stop those screws from snapping, and I also like to dip my screw into the decking oil that I'm using, which will act as a lubricant. Might need to rephrase that last paragraph. And please resist the urge to use your impact driver to drive in the screws, as that will only snap off the screws, leaving a nasty mess to fix. Instead, set the clutch on your regular drill so that it kicks in once the screw comes to a stop. To keep all the battens the same height, I'm sitting them on a metal straight edge, which I'll screw to the posts on either end, which makes the job so much easier. Now look, I have to say that pre-drilling, plumbing and screwing on all those 40x40 battens is a little time consuming, but the end result is definitely worth it. Now to be honest, there are still a couple of landscaping jobs needed to finish the fence in regard to planting and installing some Core-10 steel as garden edging. But all in all, I love how the fence adds to that beachy vibe of the place. It gives the house some curb appeal, and more importantly, it gets the Minister of Finance off my back until she finds me another job to do, which it won't be long. Trust me. Alrighty, after all that, I think I need a good cup of tea. Thanks for watching folks. Until next time, be good, be safe, and I'm out of here. Cheers. Can't believe I dressed up as a fairy. The lengths I go to, I don't know.